Thanks very much for coming, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. One more time. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, there we go. Right, so I'm Chris. I run a digital marketing agency in London. Just a show of hands, how many of you guys were in Vienna a few weeks ago? Okay, no spoilers. This is a different presentation. You'll recognise the branding, but you won't recognise everything in it, so don't you worry. But if you didn't listen to the presentation in Vienna last time, because you either weren't there or you weren't listening in Vienna, then you'll recognise some of this as well. So, what are we here to talk about? The information on the site versus what I'm going to talk about is a little bit different, but we're going to talk about the anatomy of the perfect content strategy to get you more business. So basically, the right content to become visible to your audience. So we're going to be talking about writing, content, the type of stuff that your audience really need in order for you to get business. The sort of stuff that Google needs in order to understand that you know what the hell you're talking about. So we're going to cover things like what the web is, and hopefully this works, fingers crossed. A short history of Google, how things have changed in your market briefly, where you should be starting in terms of entities, and again, in Vienna I asked this question, hands up, just a quick show of hands, how many people currently do SEO for themselves or have someone doing it for them? Keep your hands up if they talk about keywords. Fire those people. They're doing 2012 SEO. We're going to talk about audiences, we're going to talk about on-page SEO, and then we're going to talk about how to create a content strategy, and then how other channels actually support SEO. SEO used to work in silo, it doesn't anymore, so we talk about that. And it's all very boring, so hopefully you all have lots of coffee, and I pinky swear, I promise, that I'll make it as entertaining and as amazing as possible so that you all walk out here thinking, I'm going to come and see it again at 12 o'clock, this is going to be great. But just one thing before we start. Please don't mention Brexit. this whole day, this whole conference, if you see me and we talk, let's never talk about Brexit. It's an international embarrassment and I don't want to be involved, okay? So, first thing we're going to sort of answer is what the internet really is. And I'm hopeful that this works in terms of the sound. No, there's no sound. Is there sound for the thing? No. Okay, right. Well, we'll skip that, sadly. That was a really cool, funny video, and I'll share it on YouTube later, but it's a really funny video. That it's not what the internet really is. That's the kind of the gist of it. But the reality is that the internet isn't really what everyone thinks it is. Everyone thinks it's just this infinite thing that you can just put stuff in and stuff comes out. But the reality is that it is effectively a load of cables and pipes connected to a load of computers. The computers talk to computers and things get transferred across. Now the reason I'm saying this is that it isn't a case of the Kevin Costner film, Field of Dreams, you build it and they will come like it used to be when there were like 10 websites in the world. The internet really is such a vast landscape where there's so many different nodes here, so many different countries connecting together that if you want people to find you, you need to make sure that you're out there doing the right things that people are actually looking for. It's not good enough just to have a website anymore, unless your website is just there to prove you exist. So at the minute there's about 5.6 billion people on the internet. By 2022 I think it is, it's about 80% of the world's population will be connected to the web, whether that be on their phone, their tablet, their desktop, I've got an internet connected vacuum cleaner at home. I got a notification just before I came on that it started its daily clean. The refrigerator at home, the lights and things like that, they're all connected to the internet. So the noise around the web is getting larger, and in order to stand out, you just need to be doing what your audience are looking for. You need to be telling them what they're interested in, what solves the problem, what scratches the itch that they have. So I'm going to give you a brief history of Google. Some of the people in Vienna will have heard this already, but does anyone, just before that, anyone want a back rub at all? No? Okay. Well, Google used to be called Backrub before they were called Google. Someone, a very smart person, decided, do you know what, Backrub is a terrible name, and we're not going to be using that for an international search engine, which is going to change the world. So basically, back in 1998, in a garage in the US, Google called it home. It was one computer that they sent a robot out into the web, and it pulled back information on websites. Now, the best way to understand how Google really works is it goes out there, finds things, puts them into a massive database, and then works out what those things are connected to and what they're related to and what they mean. So in 2000, they launched Google Ads, or they bought a company which actually ran internet ads, and they launched this ads platform. The ads platform is where I now put my tinfoil conspiracy theory hat on and explain to you that SEO is actually about selling ads. So the better you are at providing the answers to Google that provide the answers to your users, the better Google are at getting more clicks for more ads and make more money. So if you go to Google and you search for something and you don't trust the results, then you don't come back, so they don't make as much money on that. So it's within their interests for you and for us to promote the user, promote to the user the best thing for them as possible. So in 2001, Google revealed this part of their algorithm, which was called PageRank. And basically, PageRank was just saying, if you have these 10, 15 things that we weight in certain ways, you will get X spit out at the end. So you'll be more authoritative or ranked more highly. It's not so simple as that anymore, but PageRank basically was almost the birth of modern SEO, when people went, well, I reckon I can do something here which will manipulate this rank a bit higher than that rank, and then I'll be on top of someone else in search results and take traffic away from them. 2004, Gmail emerges. They start using Gmail and people's emails as metadata to understand what people are talking about and then sell more ads, and also Google stuff. Then they buy YouTube. Second largest search engine on the planet is YouTube. Not Bing, not anything else combined. All the other search engines in the world combined don't touch YouTube before Google. So they've got two of the largest search engines under their umbrella, and they've got all this data to provide, to understand, to work out what it is that the user's really looking for, work out what it is that you're doing that the other competitor isn't doing, work out what itch does the user have that your website can scratch and solve for them. And then Google gets into Android and phones, and then they know where you are, what you're doing, and all this stuff. It sounds very conspiracy theory, but it is true, I promise you. And then they combine search and ads to make even more money, and then buy more platforms and things like that. And basically, it's obviously a business, they want to make lots of money, but ultimately from an SEO point of view, you need to be as visible as possible in order to get the traffic that you need that converts into the business that you want, and you have to pay the piper, you have to work with Google. And the trade-off with that is that there are ads then that they can make money off as well. So a very brief history of SEO, and I'll go as briefly through this as possible because we want to get to the important bit in a minute. So between 94 and 99, it's kind of like the Wild West. It just spam everywhere. Everyone was trying to fake it and do what the hell they wanted. Then Google took over and they worked out that, do you know what, the best way to rank a website is about what it is relevant to with the user's search query. Is someone searching for book a yacht charter holiday looking for a news website talking about yacht charters? No. So then they will rank things differently depending on the user's query. Then localization, personalization, device types, things like that came into effect around 2004 to 2006 when if you're on a mobile phone, you're more likely to be checking for something quick, short, snappy that you just get the answer to, whereas if you're checking on a desktop in your house or in your office, you're looking for something a little bit more in detail. So they work out that you want different results when you're searching for the same thing in different places on different devices. And then Google thought, I know how we can make even more money. We can give people in SEO and in internet marketing an analytics platform and another platform which gives all this data away for free, which helps you do better for your users and in turn helps Google do better for their users. And then universal search, and I'll come back onto this a bit later, universal search comes in around 2007 onwards, and basically universal search allows for things like local map packs, and Rick will go into things like Google My Business and things like that later. But universal search comes in and basically wipes things off the map. It changes the whole way that SEO is done, the whole way that Google works from a search engine point of view to actually providing answers for users. 2011, my favourite time of the time for SEO was when people started getting penalised for doing awful shit. So Panda and Penguin, link and content spam, taken off the map, penalties. They were cleaning up this mess from the Wild West time. This is an example of spam. So this is a reverse phone lookup site for North Carolina, and this is the actual web page. All of these are telephone numbers, which are just links to an identical page, which has another list of telephone numbers. This is all telephone numbers. That is the website. Every single page is exactly the same. All of this is the same. The only change in this content is the telephone number or the area code or the name of the area. So this is content spam, which was just wiped off the map. These sorts of sites were making a lot of money on ads or selling telephone number directories and things like that. And once Google worked out this is providing no one with any value and it's scamming people, they took it off the map. Then you've got things like this. This is content spam. This is where it's been done wrong. I don't know if you can see it very well because the pixels here, but basically you have everyone probably had a blog or been on a blog and you've seen comments at the bottom, people write lovely blog, that's great, or they've shared it and things like that. Well, in SEO, before link penalties, robots used to go to blogs and write stuff like this, which would have loads and loads of dodgy bits of content and then a link to their Viagra website or something like that. And this is what it would end up looking like in reality. This is what the robot would do, and then it would fill in this, and this link to the name, the person's name, would actually go to their dodgy website. So the search engine needs to get smart, otherwise all of this was basically just going to mean that you just wouldn't trust Google with any queries that you had. So things have changed in your industry, and things have changed for the better. Now this is moorings. Is anyone from moorings in the room? Hands up if you are. This isn't a bad thing, by the way. This is your site back in 2007. This is what all websites were like back then. This is a digital storefront like every other website. Everyone used to look at the internet as if it was a digital version of a shop or a travel agent or whatever that you could walk into. This was before people realised that the web isn't really I'm walking in and booking my holiday, sitting down, so picking up the phone or sending a letter. This was from the days when people started thinking it's the same as having a billboard or the same as having a leaflet. This was almost no different. This was just to generate people picking up the phone or walking into an office and making a booking. So things changed, and this is a really good example of a really good site. So well done, Maureen. Basically, you've got opportunities for multiple languages. Really clear. We're open at this time. But the thing that makes this user-centric, I think, is you've got a really good thing here which tells you what you can do, where you can do it, how you can do it. But this makes the difference. Whereas you've got this is just book with us, we go to these places over here, this is great, we're awesome, request a brochure. Whereas now you're saying, look at this, there's some unforgettable yacht charter experiences that you can have and find out more about them, because I might never have been on a yacht holiday, and actually this one here or this one here might actually just go, oh, this is exactly what I need, this is the family thing that I want, or this is perfect for going fishing with, or whatever it might be. And in the industry over this 2007 onwards, demand has shot up. So this is a trend line for just yacht charter related queries in Google. So between 2009 and 2018, you can see that the demand has increased enormously. Obviously there's seasonality here, this is worldwide as well, so you're cutting most seasons in. But demand has increased, which means obviously more people are looking for the same things that they were looking for back in 2009, and there is more competition because you're competing with paid advertising, so anyone wanting to pay for a click. You're also competing with this universal search, which I mentioned earlier. So this is an example of people also ask, and this gives you really good ideas for content you should be writing for your site. So for example, if you're writing content, I'll go into it a bit later, but if you're writing content and you're not answering these sorts of questions, these are the sorts of questions people are asking when they're also searching for yacht charter holidays. So if you imagine you've got the first slot now for within Google, and you're actually competing with 4 ads, and then 4 answers, and then maybe like a bullet list of the best Mediterranean charter holidays. And incidentally, this picture doesn't come from this website. So you've got 2 different competitors on top of all the other competing results. So if you're not helping the user here, or paying for it, then a lot of this demand is wasted. If you're positioned sort of 5 down, it's a massive waste of time for you. In the UK alone, there are 52 million competing results for charter a yacht. That's 52 million pages that are indexed which compete for the query charter a yacht. So you're thinking, right, okay, well, where the hell do I start now? where do I go next? Because you know the audience are there. You know that they're in there. You just need to work out how to get to them. Well, this is a good friend of mine, a company called the Colouring In Department. You can tell it's colours, it's lovely. They created this consumer cross-stitch, and I use this all the time. So you need to start. Where do I start? I've got all this competition, I'm doing all this. If you start here, you start at the stage of awareness where people have a pain or a problem that they're aware of, but they do not know that there's a solution to. So a pain or a problem that they're not aware of would be things like, I want to go on holiday and I like the sea, but I didn't know that a yacht charter holiday was for me because I haven't sailed before, or my friends sailed and I haven't. What does that mean? So I have a problem, I think and feel like I need a holiday, or I think being in the sea or by the sea would be lovely for me. I'm searching for things that are saying like, what about, or how do I do, or why should I go? And then you have content, which is solving that problem. So you think, right, okay, I know that these people have got a problem, I know that I can help them with a solution, but you think, who the hell are you? So you've got years, like 2007 was the Moorings website there. So there's charter companies here from even further back, like decades and decades and decades before the internet even existed. And you've got the answer to this, who the devil are you? You should have anyway. What we tend to do when we're creating content or creating content strategies is work out really who are they. So you create like maybe 4 to 5 different audience personas. So this, for example, is Ben. He's a venture capitalist, so obviously, probably, since he likes Bentley, already got the yacht, but let's pretend he doesn't. Ben is, he's 30 plus, he's married with kids, he lives in London, he's extroverted, so he's probably going to tell everyone about his holiday. He buys things on intuition and he judges quite well. He's pretty hungry for growth and power, obviously, you can imagine. He has frustrations and goals, and when you know this, you know kind of how to talk to Ben over how to talk to someone else who might be a different type of audience. So when you answer a question for a user, you're answering it as if you're talking directly to Ben. And then what that does is it actually creates this, the search engine will process that language, put it pass it through a natural language processing tool, and it will say, this content suits this type of human being who is searching for this type of thing at this type of time, in this device, in this location. And then when Ben is at his office computer searching for, God, I need a holiday and I hate my job, this pops up with the right answer that says, yachting holidays are perfect for venture capitalists called Ben. Not really, but obviously along those lines. So on-page SEO is basically words and what the robot reads and what the user sees. That's the way I kind of distinguish it from anything else. So if you can read it or you can click it, it's on-page SEO technically. So you need to create themes of entities. So I mentioned about keywords and firing SEO agencies if they talk about keywords, fire them if they talk about keywords other than in the context of a theme in an entity. I'll go through what an entity is very shortly. You should have a separate page for each targeted entity or group of entities within reason. Obviously, you don't want a million pages for yacht and boat and not. You'd have one page that distills all of that into something if it's relevant. You then have an intelligent URL structure, so to the point where if a user is 10 clicks in, they know where they are if they sort of remove a bit from the URL. So you can follow it says Mediterranean, family, and then it's got family holidays in the Mediterranean. You know where you are, and the user can read that. It's almost like if you read the URL as a sentence, it creates this context that I know where I am, I know what I'm looking for. Then you think, how do I solve their problem with this content? What do I write them like a bullet list about how to? A really short bullet list is not a bad thing, but a long piece of content which actually completely answers their question might be a good thing or a bad thing. Just thinking about that audience tells you exactly what you should be saying. Then you kind of sell the click. So when you consider, you look at, if you Google anything all the time, you've got those results. what is it that makes you decide to click that one over that one? It's the description, right? The little blue bit that says the name and the answer to your query, and a little description. So on those pages, you need to be answering the thing. I've searched for family holidays in the Mediterranean, and it says yacht holidays are the best for families in the Mediterranean. This is why, in like a short snippet, you're saying, buy me over this one, and this one, and this one. So you're selling that click to them. And then the one thing that you really should do before you write any of this selling the click stuff is look at what your competitors for that same keyword or same phrase or same query are doing. If you're thinking, okay, do I need a license to charter a yacht? That's a question I would ask. So someone's going to be asking that. If someone's asking that and you look and you've got 4 ads and you've got the people also asked and then you've got an answer box and then right at the bottom of the page you've got this enormous Wikipedia article, there's no point in trying to answer that question because someone has already answered it way better than you could ever, and they're much more authoritative than you could ever be. So then you think, okay, well I can answer that within content also answers another question which is a little bit easier to attain. Otherwise you're just competing against enormous behemoths. So I said about entities, so anyone, what the heck is an entity? If you were in Vienna, so an entity, according to what Google says, an entity is a concept that is singular, unique, well-defined and distinguishable. So book a yacht charter holiday. The entities in this, and the simplest way I always try and explain this to anyone is that an entity is anything realistically that has a Wikipedia entry. It's not the be all and end all, but the easiest way to kind of decide whether it is does it have a Wikipedia entry? So you have yacht, you have charter, you have holiday, and then they're all linked together by the relationship of book, which is to organise, and then you have organising. So you have 3 things, and a relationship between those 3 things creates this entity. Now, once you do this right across all of your site's pages, you end up with this. It looks like a mess, but I promise it isn't. This is a t-shirt printing website, so that you won't recognise anything yacht related here, but this is their homepage, and then coming off of here are all of the entities. Anything in blue is something that is relevant and recognisable that you can put the right content for. Anything in green is something that the search engine notices has a Wikipedia entry or is a recognised entity. Anything in grey are things that are entities but are not related to the business. So for example, you have here investment. Well, this is an article about investing in your team by giving them a really good uniform which has a printed t-shirt in it, which is obviously a terrible piece of content. But investment is an entity, but it isn't a thing which is related to that business. So you don't then need to worry about that in the mix. If I've got a yacht charter holiday, I should have entities which are related to all of the things which are how to get one, what to do with one, how to maintain it, things like that. If you have the content which creates entities around this, then you've got this. I guess the best way to think of this is like a word cloud. If this word cloud is completely relevant to your business, then those entities are relevant to your business, and then the robot will pass all of this information and it will understand, they answer this question in this way for this user. Ben's going to love this when he searches for this, so I'll put you at the top of that. So on-page SEO creates this web of relevance to a thing. You're answering their question. If you answer it well, and you answer it better than anyone else, it creates this beautiful web of authority. So you have relevant content that is authoritative to the user. And then, because you're a recognised entity, because you have, a Wikipedia page, or the business listings, and there's physical addresses, it creates a credibility that the relevance and the authority are connected to. So, where do you start with this content? Where do you start? So a really good tool is a free version of this that's a few searches per day. Is it day? Yeah. So it's like, or the cheapest option is like $69, $70. And basically, it's really this simple. You put a keyword in or a phrase, it tells you, obviously this is on desktops. In the UK, there's 1,900 people searching for charter a yacht per month. There's 62 million competing pages. It's roughly 68% competitive, and this is just a made-up number based on all of the stuff that they know. The trend across the year, that's January all through to there. The trend across the year is this, so you know, okay, this is the busy time, so I should work on my content at this point. And if I really had all the money in the world and I really wanted to pay Google, then I could put £2.88 into Google Ads, and I think there's a talk about that later. You put £2.88 into Google Ads, and bang, you've got all of it, you've got everything you need. You've also got phrases which also are relevant to that query. So you can then think, okay, so charter a yacht, I've got best places to charter a yacht, brilliant. Are you chartering a yacht in the best places? Hopefully you are. If you're not, then probably move. But if you are chartering yachts in the best places, then you could talk about other best places to charter a yacht. If you've been to Split, then you might really like X. So then you're talking about places you don't work in, that you're actually helping them go, oh, I love that place. I might like this place too. This tool is absolutely fantastic, and frankly, this tool hasn't been as good as it was when you land on the homepage. You'll see there's a young guy on there. It used to be this really old guy doing this wavy finger thing. It's really good. Basically, again, you put in a phrase, and then it breaks that down into that first stage of the awareness box, and you then have things like how much to charter a yacht in Florida. How much to charter a yacht in the Mediterranean? If you've got ways of answering this question in authoritative, credible, useful content that answers the question for your audience, then you should be doing that. So, where can I charter a yacht? What is a charter yacht? Some people don't know. And if you're thinking about other markets, so for example, China, emerging market for you guys enormously, they don't know that they can charter a yacht. So can you answer their question? If you can, and the audience is right, and you're targeting it properly, then there's no reason why another market wouldn't suddenly go, oh Christ, I can actually do this. So then what you need to do is you need to build a strategy. Most people think that strategy is something other than what it is. Strategy is not doing things. Strategy is not tactics. If anyone's read Sun Tzu's The Art of War, he says, tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. And basically that's true. If you just have, our strategy is to sell 10 more boats per month, well, get out, because that's not a strategy, that's a tactic. I'm going to measure how many boats I'm going to sell or how many yachts I'm going to charter. That's not a strategy. We're going to do these 10 things, we're going to solve these 5 problems, we're going to deal with these 10 challenges. That will be a strategy, because that drives you in the right direction to get the end result of chartering more yachts. So you're thinking, right, okay, that's great, how? So you know who they are, you know where they are, you know what they're doing, you know when your boats are best to be sold. So you then create a seasonal content calendar. The content calendar is not, you don't write an article in November about something that's happening in November. You don't answer a question about winter in winter. You should be writing this stuff and doing this stuff that suits your users, suits your audience before they need it. Because the search engine won't find you. The second that content goes live on your site, it doesn't immediately go into Google, it doesn't immediately get ranked and indexed. The first thing you need to do is you need to think, right, if I need someone to see this in May, because our busy time for bookings is in June, well then I need to be writing it in April, so that it's on my site, it's talking about what's coming in the future, and there you go. With SEMrush, like I say, you've got the seasonality here. You can see in the US it's actually really popular at certain times of the year over the UK. And you can click into these and it changes this, so you know that in, for example, in Saudi Arabia, it's actually really, really popular in winter to book a charter holiday for the summer, for example. And then with Answer the Public, you've then got I know that all these people are searching for all of these things, and that we can answer these questions at these times of year. And then you've got this perfect way of doing all of these things from top to bottom with your content strategy. So just to break down some ideas, I'm not saying everyone should write these things, because if you all write them, then everyone in this room is competing against each other. But at the point where I have a pain or a problem that I'm aware of, you can write things like, when is the best time to go on a yacht holiday? Is a yacht holiday relaxing? Personally, for me, it wouldn't be, because I get seasick. How easy is it to charter a yacht? Can anyone charter a yacht? Well, I have a pain, I have a problem. I want to go on a yacht charter holiday because I love seeing them in the sea. When I go somewhere in the Mediterranean on holiday, I think, oh, that'd be really nice for me. Well, can anyone do it? That's a question that people will be asking. That's an audience that you don't know you even have because they don't exist because they haven't booked ever. Then you have things like, I'm aware of a solution. Yacht charter holidays exist. So, what are the best types of charter holidays? Charter holiday reviews. Am I able to tell someone clearly, this is the best place to go, that's the best place to go, because you provided that service to someone, so you've got the right reviews for them. And what type of charter holiday is best for families? Well, I know I can go on a charter holiday, but is a certain boat better for families, or is there a certain location that's good for families? Is there a certain way of booking or travelling to and travelling from places to get families? And then you know, okay, I have a problem, I know someone can solve it, I know where to solve it, so I'm aware that there's a product that can solve my problem. So, charter holiday for dot. So that's when people are searching in Google for, I'm almost ready to buy. So I know that Split is the best place in the world for a charter holiday. So charter holidays, Split, Moorings, Sunsail, all of the other brands that are here today, brand charter holiday. So then I'm straight to your site because I know that you solved the problem that I've already seen in the content on your site. Brand, charter, in, location. If you are a brand that they've been to and you've answered their question fully and clearly, and they feel like you are the trustworthy resource, and then you're in the location that they want, then when they go back to Google a week or two later after they've spoken to their family and their friends, they're going to search for brand and the location. And then they're most aware, they're ready to buy. So at this point they're going, I'm going to book a charter holiday in this location. I'm going to book a Moorings charter holiday. I'm going to book Moorings in location. Sorry to keep using Moorings, it's one on top of my head for the thing. At which point you go, right, I know how to do all of this. I've got this whole thing. One second. I should have thought about it, shouldn't I? So you've got your plan. I know what I'm going to write, where I'm going to write it, and you know when you're going to write it, which then means you've covered all of this and that. You've then got the content which answers people's question from not knowing where to be all the way through to knowing where to be and who to be with and what to buy from them. The whole way through, you know they've got good reviews, you know that you can book through them or you can book directly from them. So that's it, right? Done. So what can you expect? Can you expect loads more traffic? Nope, you're not going to get loads more traffic. You rank number one for something that few people are looking for. You're ranking number one, you're ranking more visibly in Google, in everything else for the small thing that they're looking for, because that's what you do best. So can you expect loads more sales? Nope. Can you expect easier sales from the right people who then buy again? Yes. That's cheaper, right? You've got someone who comes to your site and they go, these people do the exact thing I want, and they do it exactly how I want it, and where I want it, and when I want it. And I found them through Google, which is effectively free traffic, which free is in, you know, you're not paid to get there. So I bought from you because it's super easy, and then I have the thing that you promised in the content, and then I'm going to come back to buy from you anyway. So your whole marketing plan is circular at that point. So, it's true. That works. Why does it work? Because like I said, you've answered their question, you've solved their problem, you've got relevance, you've got authority, you've got credibility, and they can find you. They can find you. If they can find you and you've got relevance and authority and credibility and it's easy to book, you've not created friction for them, then they're going to buy from you and then they're going to come back to you later. And that's it, right? So it's plain sailing. Plain sailing. Now you can crack on and get on with everything. That's it, brilliant. Everyone's going to make £1 million today. But just wait. You cannot do that. That's not everything. For success, the other channels that you work with, other channels other than SEO exist. And there are other ways to sell to people that aren't just through Google. Google is great for all of this section. Google and search engines touch every element of this. However, if you think SEO touches all of these columns, and at the same time you've got audience targeting in paid social, you've got organic social because they feel and they think in a way that it's targeting them organically. You've also got review engines, and people are searching for the best things on actual review sites. They're not necessarily going to go to your site immediately, so you've got that as well. You've then got at the top here, they're aware of a product, so you're going to pay to retarget them because they've already come to you at this stage. You've then got paid retargeting here and paid search when they're ready to buy, because you don't want to pay for the click when they're going, can I go on a yacht holiday in Split or Zagreb, I don't know, yacht on the river? No, maybe not. So you pay to retarget and sell to them at that point. And then you've got advocacy and email. Someone's come to you, they've had a great time, they're going to come back to you in the future, so get them to write a review, get them to send an email, get them in like an email flow that says, okay, you've been to here, have you thought about here for the next holiday? Get them to write a review for your sites, get them to do something to help you. And all the way along here, underpinning this is voice, and again, this is the sort of thing where if you've got the entities right, you've got the content right, you've got the linkage up right here, fantastic tools, Rick will go into some of this stuff in a minute, then voice will underpin all of this in the future. I'm not saying people are going to walk around and have, hey Siri, book me a yacht charter holiday, because I mean, I wouldn't trust it. I mean, I accidentally bought a whole bunch of stuff off of my Echo the other day by accident. I don't think it's ever going to get to that point, but conversational computing is pushing forwards, and soon enough you will be saying, hey, where's the best place to go? Is it easy to learn how to tie knots? Or do I need to learn how to tie knots to charter a yacht? Things like that. So you've got this there. And you shouldn't then, because you've got all of this, you shouldn't silo your teams. You shouldn't silo paid from organic and social. And you should, if you do that, it's all going to fall apart because you've got your SEO team working in one direction, you've got your paid team working in another direction. So in our offices, and I tell all of our clients this as well, you should have a phone that has this on it, that tells you, pick up your phone, talk to your team. Obviously everyone's got Slack these days, but this is the old school version, I quite like it. Because you've got these young kids in the offices, they're all doing this marketing stuff, and everything's great because they know the internet, and brilliant, you're going to make loads of sales because you've got a 12-year-old doing your social media. Well actually, they don't know, they don't think to talk to other people, because if you have things like your product planning people, your guys who know what boats to buy or rent or to do the upkeep on, they know when it's busy for them, they know when they're going to be really busy, so they know to tell the social team to pay this and that and do this and that. You've then got people who talk to the clients and do the finance side of the business. They know what's more profitable. Why the hell would I push a holiday to Split or to somewhere in the Mediterranean, other than that I can't think off the top of my head? Why would I put money into that if it doesn't make me any money? If I've only got one boat there and it's costing me a lot of money, then I should put all my time and effort and energy into something else, right? After sales can help identify problems that you can solve in content on your site once someone's already had a holiday. Oh, well, I thought there was a safe on the boat. Right, you can write that in your content then, so people know that in advance. Digital SEO, social can inform brand and PR. This social media post has done really, really well, and then the PR team can go, great, okay, well we can work out how to put that into something more brand related. But when you come to an event like this, you can say, we know this the best because everyone's told us the same. And then there's lots of other teams and lots of other people, but if you don't integrate, you won't know what to do. And then you shouldn't obviously be afraid to call in any experts. There's a reason for it, because they need support sometimes too. If you consider, you guys know your industry super, super well, but you've got like blinkers on to what you do. You don't know SEO as well as you might know paid, or your paid teams might not know SEO as well as they think they do. So they need support. The reason for it is, like I say earlier, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's a minefield out there. You've got a lot of competition, you've got a lot of demand, you've got a lot of ads to compete with. Unless you've got big budgets, you don't really want to be spending money on these, because if this is at the wrong time and you're paying for the click, you're paying for the click whether you get anything or not. The marketplace is so full. This is what everyone's seeing when they're searching for stuff for you guys. So if your in-house team are thinking, great, we do yacht charter holidays in this place, so we're going to write SEO content for that. They tell their boss, we now rank #1 for yacht charter holidays with a blue boat. You're thinking, that's great because we have only blue boats. That's brilliant, we're excellent, we're going to win. But actually you aren't, because there's all of this. So unless you have your in-house teams can cope with the amount of noise that's coming in, that's why they should have some support somewhere, somehow. So what's next? Well, you need to basically understand the who, the what, the where, the why, the when. If you know that, you know what kind of content to write that answers their question. Then you write content that actually helps them solve their problem, not content that sells holidays, content that by virtue of it being really, really good sells holidays or the boats. And then ensure your websites are technically properly set up. So if you've got the best content in the world, but the site is like 50 seconds to load, the search engine's going to hate you, the users are going to hate you, you'll never do anything. You might have the best ever SEO content on the planet and it's useless. And then you need to talk to the other channels, departments, agencies, everyone that you work with that has any kind of connection to the business needs to talk. If they don't talk, it's not going to work. And then you develop a proper strategy that is achievable and is measurable and it fits. The point of a strategy isn't that you say at the end of this we need to sell 10 holidays this month. You need to have something that's like a leading goal that says at this point in this month we need to have done X, Y, Z in order for us to get here. Otherwise you're wasting your time because at the end of it you go, well, we didn't hit that target, okay, let's move on. And then you measure with changing okay. And then give us a call if you need any more help, and I'll be around for the rest of the day. If you missed anything, 12 o'clock, I'm back in here. Cheers.